Let's talk education now, because the Ministry of Education has dismissed claims by the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, that students have been excluded from the newly inaugurated Ghana Scholarships Authority Board, insisting students are duly represented. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu inaugurated the board during the passage of Act 1149, approved by President John Mahama, which strengthens the authority's mandate and places scholarship awards firmly under its control. NUGS, however, has condemned the inauguration, describing the absence of direct student representation as a breach of democratic governance. In a statement on Thursday, the union stated that students are central stakeholders and the exclusion undermines the board's legitimacy, fairness and accountability. NUGS President Rashid Ibrahim says students are, quote, the core purpose of the scholarships framework, and warned that the board risks being disconnected from student realities. But the Education Ministry has rejected the claims, clarifying that student interests are represented on the board through civil society organizations. And here are excerpts of that particular press statement released by the Education Ministry, and it says through this inclusive process, it was concluded that civil society organizations will be the umbrella body of the governing body. Accordingly, the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, is rightfully represented on the board in accordance with the provisions of the law. It concludes by saying the Ministry of Education remains firmly committed to transparency, inclusiveness and collaborative governance in the management and development of Ghana's education sector. The Education Ministry says it values the constructive contributions of all stakeholders and look forward to continued partnership in advancing quality and accessible education for all Guineans. Let's get some reactions from the NUGS leadership and go on to Zoom right now and speak to the National President of NUGS, Ibrahim Rashid. Rashid, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. This clarification from the Ministry of Education should certainly end the matter, shouldn't it?
No, please. It can certainly not end the matter.
Why is that?
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We at NUGS value strategic partnership. We value the fact that we must have stakeholders' engagement on anything that concerns students in Ghana, particularly with regards to scholarship. Scholarship is something that is very important to students, and the students are the direct beneficiaries of scholarship. So if you are constituting a board that would set standard, a board that will administer scholarship in this country, I think it is right that you include students in the governing board of the scholarship in the scholarship. Why do I say that? I think prior to the promulgation of this enactment, that is the Scholarship Authority Act, before it became an act, somewhere last year, middle of last year, it came very topical that there's no student representation on the board. This made my predecessor release statement actually describing how unpleasant the situation is to the Ghanaian students. In fact, the Minister of Education acted on it. They actually suspended the passage of the bill into an act for broader consultation. They went into a stakeholders consultation. It is there that it was agreed that there will be a student representation on the board. And fast forward, the act has been passed, but still remains that there is no student representation on the act. Unlike what precedents in the education governance says, if you look at this Get Fund Act, it is clearly stated expressly that NUGS, or there must be a student representation duly nominated by NUGS or the Polytechnic Student Association of Ghana. So if today we are inaugurating a board that will oversee to administer scholarship in this country to the very students who matters, why can't we include students? And if you look into the act, there's nothing like student representation. So this statement they've released is not an answer to the demands we have requested in our release.
Right.
We actually want engagement again with the minister and all people who matter in the education value chain for us to find a lasting solution to this problem.
Right. Rashid, I want to refer to the statement once again, and it says that during the establishment of this scholarship authority, NUGS was one of the consultation or consultative bodies, and that you and civil society organizations were consulted. Now, the third paragraph says it was then concluded that civil society organizations will be the umbrella body on the governing board. So accordingly, NUGS is rightfully represented on the board in accordance with the provisions of the law. Is this something that you agreed with during the consultative stage of the formation of this authority?
Okay, thank you. I was not the one who participated in this consultative meeting that you're talking about. It's my predecessor who participated. I reached out to him whether there was any form of agreement of this nature. In fact, he denied that there was not any form of this agreement. But I want to even ask, if you generalize everything that there must be a CSO and you actually put NUGS under that umbrella, that the NUGS should be recognized as a CSO, we have CSOs who are into dealing with a lot of things. You can have a CEO like a CSO. Let's take GBA. If you want an association to speak on journalism in Ghana, whom do you call on? You call on GBA, Ghana Journalists as a GJA, right? If you want an association that can speak on lawyers' welfare and everything, it is a Ghana Bar Association that you call. But if you want to speak on scholarship, something that borders on students. Students are the direct beneficiaries. Scholarships are not administered to market women. Scholarships are not administered to farmers. Scholarships are administered to students. And you are saying that a NUGS should be under the umbrella of CSO. I think it is not the right thing. If you look at Get Fund, an act that was passed somewhere around the year 2000, NUGS was expressly stated that they must have a member, they must have a rep on their board, so that whatever they are doing, let me just make this general statement. Right. Assuming students want to make a submission, can the student even call on the minister? No, he cannot call on the president. But if we have a student there, the student can just pick a call the rep on that. This is how the scholarships have been administered. I don't want it to go this way.
But Rashid, the same thing can be done through the CSOs. And by the way, what is your next line of action? What are you going to do from here?
Okay, thank you. The same thing cannot be done by the CSOs. As I clarified earlier, that if you want a CSO, that's actually fight for the interests of Ghanaians. It should be National Union of Ghana Students or maybe any rep of students.
Okay.
But it's not that you don't generalize it to say that NUGS should be under the umbrella of CSO. We are not part of those ones. We are representing the students, and we must have a rep on the Scholarship Authority Board. So on our next action, after this release, we intend to either petition office of the president, the minister of state, or maybe a speaker of parliament to see how we can find an amicable resolution to this. But in the alternative, if you look at some of our demands, we demand that the Scholarship Authority Act must be amended under a certificate of urgency. Or, better still, the president has the power to make an appointment, about 3 of them. The president can revoke one appointment, and in the alternative or in the short run, nominate a student rep on the board.
Okay.
So that whilst we are dealing with amending the act, we can also have a rep to have a say in whatever goes on in the Scholarship Authority Board. Yes.
Right. Rashid Ibrahim, thank you very much. He's the president of the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS.